They told us that the money problems that hit us so suddenly, and the voices we kept hearing at home, voices that came from inside the walls, were the result of witchcraft someone had done to us. Not just to my mom, like we first thought. The curse was against the whole family. They wanted to finish all of us. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here, and for your patience when we miss an upload. Tonight's episode will be longer than usual, and I want to ask you something. If you're listening alone, on your way home, pay close attention to what's around you. Because maybe someday you'll be the one sending us your story. Maybe you'll be the next person to prove that the paranormal is real. Let me tell you this story. My name is Anna. I'm from Zamora, Michoacán, and this happened when I was about 12, in 2017. We've always been a very humble family. My mom and stepdad work day to day. No luxuries, just enough to live. My stepdad had spent years at the same fruit export company. In April they fired him, but they gave him a good severance. With that money, my mom opened a small mechanic shop that my uncle ran, and a little leather workshop for belts and sandals that my grandfather managed. For the first time, things started looking up. There was a little less worry at the end of the month, and that lasted barely 3 months. In July, new neighbors moved in across the street. They quickly became friends with my mom and stepdad. They saw that our business was doing well and offered my mom a chance to invest in something with them. My mom said no. She told them she was happy with what we had, that our small shops were enough. Their faces changed. From that day on, they barely spoke to us. We didn't think much of it. People are like that sometimes. Then the strange things began. At first it was small, knocks on doors when no one was there, whispers that seemed to come from inside the walls, like someone talking just out of reach. We brushed it off as normal house noises, until my little sister, who was 7, started waking up crying in the middle of the night. She said something was trying to pull her down from the bed, that she saw a horrible face in the wardrobe mirror. We didn't believe her at first. We liked to scare each other with horror stories. We thought she was dreaming or lying. Then my grandmother saw it. One night while my parents were out, my sister started crying in her room. My grandma ran to open the door, but it wouldn't budge, as if something heavy was holding it from the other side. Thinking my sister had locked herself in, she ran outside to the little garden, where every room had a window. Through the glass she saw my sister still asleep, crying as if something tormented her even in her dreams. Then something made my grandmother look at the wardrobe mirror. The glass was covered in a kind of mist, and in that mist, a face. She describes it the same way to this day, the face of a very dark-skinned man, with deep, hollow eyes that seemed to pull you in if you stared too long, and 2 large horns curling from his forehead. She only saw the face, nothing else. She started praying as hard as she could and ran back to force the door open. This time it let her in. She grabbed my sister and took her out of that room. That was only the beginning. My grandmother told my mom everything, and my mom took us to a woman who did cleansings and read cards. The woman didn't hesitate. She said someone very close to us, someone who lived nearby, had done witchcraft against my mother, a powerful curse using objects from a cemetery. It wasn't just to harm her. It was meant to destroy every part of her life, and everyone around her would suffer too. My mom didn't fully believe it, until everything started to fall apart. My grandfather, the one who ran the leather shop, fell from a high place and broke his leg badly. He spent a long time in the hospital. When he finally came home, He couldn't work anymore. The workshop closed. My uncle, who was in charge of the mechanic shop, started drinking heavily. He fell deep into alcoholism. Clients stopped coming, work went undone, and we lost that business too. At home, the voices in the walls grew louder. Doors opened and closed by themselves. Footsteps crossed empty rooms. My sister woke up in different parts of her bedroom, saying something had dragged her while she couldn't move or scream. One day, as I was going down the stairs, I felt two clear hands push me hard from behind. I barely grabbed the handrail in time. I walked away with only scrapes, but I knew something wanted to hurt us physically. We decided to move, hoping everything would stay behind. It didn't. It followed us, and it got worse. The noises grew violent. My sister's nightmares intensified. Our money kept disappearing into emergencies, into fights, into anything that could keep us on edge. Then came the night I will never forget. By then, we were all sleeping together in the living room on the ground floor. My siblings, my grandparents, my mom and stepdad. Mattresses on the floor, the sofa, anywhere. We were too afraid to sleep alone. It was close to 11. We had just lain down when a loud crash sounded upstairs, like doors being opened and slammed again and again. The noise woke my siblings. My little sister started crying in terror. "He's coming," she sobbed. "He's angry." We tried to calm her, saying it was nothing, the same old noises. But we all heard it. Something was coming down the stairs. Not footsteps. Hooves. Heavy, slow, like a massive animal, a bull walking down each step. The lights in the house dimmed, not completely off, just low and shaky, as if something was draining the power. We looked at the stairs. And there it was. A tall figure stood halfway down. A very dark-skinned man, eyes completely black, shoulder-length wavy hair, enormous horns, and hooves instead of feet. The thing we'd begun to call the devil. He just stared at us and smiled. I don't remember my family's faces. I only remember grabbing my sister and crying with her, shaking uncontrollably. My grandmother began to pray out loud, every prayer she could remember. The thing didn't move. It only watched us. Until she started reciting one particular prayer, the Magnificat. As she spoke those words, its expression changed. The smile twisted into rage. My grandfather began throwing holy water toward the stairs. Slowly, step by step, the thing backed up, higher and higher, until we could no longer see it. Then, outside, it screamed. A roar of hatred so loud I'm sure the neighbors must have heard it. My grandfather put salt and holy water at the door. For hours, until almost dawn, we heard claws scraping at the back door, at the walls, as if it was circling the house, trying to get in again. When morning finally came, we opened the door. It was covered in deep, furious scratch marks. That day, my mom took us not to a healer, but to a witch. The woman told her the same thing. We had been cursed with very strong cemetery work, and the thing we saw was tied to the mirrors in which it had appeared. She made protections for my siblings and me. She told my mom to take those mirrors, wrap them, and destroy them far from the house. My mom removed the wardrobe mirrors, put them in a black trash bag, and took them out to some fields. She said that when she smashed the glass inside the bag, it began to puff up, swelling as if something inside were fighting to get out. After that, we never saw that thing again. But the bad luck never fully left. Today we live a little better, without the same economic desperation. But as a family we've gone through more tragedies and problems than I can count. It's hard not to think that some part of that curse is still clinging to us. Stories about witchcraft are heavy. Even if you don't believe, they leave you with a doubt, a certain respect, and maybe that's for the best. But please, don't let tales like this make you feel doomed. Sometimes life just goes through long bad streaks, and we look for a supernatural reason when we are simply tired and hurting. If you have any spiritual path at all, lean on it. Pray, meditate, light a candle, whatever speaks to you. Work on yourself, on your family, on your future. Curses or not, everything can be overcome with time, patience, and effort. Take care of yourselves. We need you here, with us, at 100%, for many more nights of horror.